Business is a skill that every person should learn. It should be taught in schools, and it should become a an important aspect of an individual's life. If you can understand business, then you can understand the way that nations are moved, the way that people think, the way that products sell, the way that we consume, the reason we consume. And so when you understand business, you really gain a deeper understanding of how to gain control of your life, and also, more importantly, how to impose your will on your environment. Um, the reason I'm making this video is because I have found myself talking a lot more about business lately. I even did a business masterclass about a week ago, or this actually earlier this week, and I never believed myself to be a businessman. I never really wanted to be a businessman. Of course, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but that was because I wanted to bring my dreams to life. I wanted to talk about psychology, and I wanted to help individuals grow in their self-understanding. So I, of course, had to pick up business along the way. I learned to sell. I learned to market. I learned the fundamentals, um, through trial and error, through wanting to grow my platform, through wanting to grow my brand. And so it's been 5 years now since I started. And so, of course, I'm gonna pick up some things along the way. And it seems now that I talk more about business than I do about psychology. And even though psychology is ingrained in business, there's something here that I've, while reading my studies, let me see. While reading my studies, here it was talking about the spectrums of consciousness, and second tier versus first tier, integral versus other forms of thinking, and it's referring to the different states of consciousness, or at least ways of thinking, value systems that people can embody at different levels of their life. Um, for example, the holistic sees the world in terms of universal order, but in a living, conscious fashion, not based on external rules or group bonds. A grand unification is possible in theory and in actuality. Turquoise thinking sometimes involves the emergence of a new spirituality as a framework of all existence, uses the entire spiral, sees multiple levels, and the synergy of all life forms and forces. So that's if you can compare that to maybe the magical animistic, which is thinking is animistic, emphasis is on tribal order, magical spirits, good and bad, swarm the earth, individual is subsumed in group, sacrifice is made to the ways of the elders and tribal customs. This is the level of shamans, spirit animals, and medicine men. Compare that to orange, which is scientific achievement. At this level, the self escapes from the herd mentality, wants to attain mastery of the world by learning its secrets rather than through brute force, as to the red level. Let's see. As to the red level, in parentheses, believes that the one who comes out on top in life fully deserves his good fortune, and those who fail are ordained to submit to the chosen few. Highly achievement oriented, especially towards materialistic gains. So the holistic is obviously going to be much more powerful, because he is capable of seeing all of these and understands the value of each, and is able to determine when to use these different systems, and is also obviously seeing the emergence of a whole new spirituality that is all inclusive rather than separative. And so while reading this, I'm thinking about the problems that we solve, and I realized that business is problem solving. And I believe that if I want to change this world, then I have to learn how to solve problems and be able to sell them, and actually create a self-sustaining system that allows me to do that through time. And so my personal endeavors no longer involve whether I can succeed. That is not a question now. That is a matter of fact. It is only a matter of time. In fact, my life is already showing me my success. That is irrelevant to me now. What I question now is, how will I solve the problems of humanity? And so it comes back down to, well, like even my clients, you know, they come to me for business, and I realize I find myself talking to them about Jungian psychology, which is very interesting. And I love it, though. I'm really good at it. I know that in some ways, I guess maybe that's a gift that I have, the capacity to really use these concepts and really mold them and play with them in a way that can apply to any individual's life. That is a very beautiful thing that I truly do want to get into much more. But, you know, now I'm reflecting on, wow, like, I'm talking to these guys who are interested in creativity and business, and I'm talking about Jungian psychology. And I actually want to bring that forth more. And so then I question, it's like, but why am I talking about business when I'm really an expert in Jungian psychology? And what I realize is that business is a skill. And the reason I'm teaching it is because it should almost be a basic psychological skill, which is knowing how to manifest, knowing how to create, to bring your vision forth, which is basically what business is, entrepreneurship is. There's so many challenges that business brings to your life, and so if we can make that something that we can teach within schools, and we can really empower individuals. We don't live in those archaic times where we needed more people to learn how to be employees. I think that that time is over now. With the internet, anybody can create their own business, and so then that means that we have to be teaching business, and almost every man should be his own business. And I recently uploaded a video on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. I met up with an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur, and I realized that those two worlds are very similar, and that an individual can really succeed in both. It's just a matter of giving him the skills, the business skills, and he will be able to apply that wherever he is. So the reason I'm making this video is because I want to bring that to light. If you are curious, if you have a dream that you want to actualize, if you have questions that problems that you want to solve, if you feel inspired to serve people, then a business is probably going to be the way to do it. And approaching it as a skill rather than some flashy label, as in, you know, the label of the entrepreneur can be really exciting nowadays, but to me it's irrelevant if it doesn't serve a purpose. The purpose that it serves for me now is the capacity to manifest your visions, the capacity to bring your will onto the environment, to shape your environment according to your will. And now that is what a true creator does. That is what a true entrepreneur does. He is able to solve the problems. And I remember back to when I was with my roommate, he would talk to me about these issues that he would have as a businessman, and like, because he was growing his YouTube channel while I was doing mine, and I always had an answer like, okay, go try this out, go do that. And sometimes you make the wrong mistake, or maybe it doesn't matter, right? Because I took out a loan, and I ended up getting a loan for over 30K in credit cards, which eventually led me to debt. But it solved a problem, which led to a larger problem. But you know, I was constantly moving forward. At the end of the day, I wanted to proceed and grow my business, and that's what I did. That's what I managed, and if anything, I grew myself. So I did solve the problems that I needed to solve. But my friend told me, he said, you know what, it's crazy because I feel like every single time something comes up, you always have an answer, or you always have a way of approaching it. And so I would never shut down. I would never quit. And so I think that's really the skill. That is the skill. That's really what I'm trying to teach people, which is where, regardless of where you're at, regardless of your past, you have the capacity to change your environment, to bring forth your will, and to make it be felt in this world. And there is some relevance to psychology here, because psychology is really the study of the soul, of the self. And if you're able to study the self, it really comes down to understanding your power. And so by developing business as a skill, you are able to understand your capacity to create, and you are not limited anymore. So really, that is what I want to talk about. Business is a skill. It's nothing No, business is for everybody. Business is a skill. Business is for everybody. And if anything, business is also a container for transformation and has a lot of innate value for your self. So, hopefully that is helpful. My boy out here is writing books. You know what I'm saying? He's not writing books yet, but he's writing them. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Reno, stay lucid. Peace.